Okay, let's try something. Just for a moment, stop thinking about money as, just numbers on a screen. Instead, picture it like a current, maybe water or even light, a kind of elemental force. And the amount of that current flowing to you and maybe through you.
Mm-hmm.
What if that's not just about your job or the market? What if it's more about the subtle architecture inside your own head? That internal blueprint, that's what we're really diving into today. We're looking at this fascinating body of text, almost like a manifesto. And it's all built around this really simple, powerful phrase, I am. We're essentially looking for the psychological instruction manual. How do we give ourselves permission to actually receive wealth? It's less about spreadsheets, more about knocking down those inner roadblocks.
Exactly. And what's so striking about this material is that it forces you, the listener, to deal with identity first, before any action. It maps out this necessary process of becoming. It really lays out the architecture of aspiration, you could say. The idea is you have to embody the traits of someone who receives and manages wealth, maybe even before the money actually shows up. So yeah, we're going to trace this blueprint. It seems to fall into, maybe 4 main stages in the material. There's the foundation, which is all about worthiness. Then there's the engine, you might say, this balance of flow and action. After that, it gets specific about the vision. What does this abundance actually look like? And finally, the kind of responsibility piece, management and gratitude. Our goal here is to figure out how declaring yourself, say, a money magnet, actually connects to, finding real profitable opportunities.
Okay, let's start there then, that foundation phase. You said worthiness. The text is pretty insistent that this is the absolute starting point, not the first investment, not the business plan, but declaring you deserve it. So before you can have wealth, you need to almost rewrite your internal job description to include worthy of wealth. Is that about right?
That's a good way to put it. It's relentless on that point. You see these core declarations repeated. Things like, I am deserving of all the financial abundance that comes my way, and the big one, I am a magnet for financial prosperity and success.
Right, which is such a contrast to how many people think, isn't it?
Yeah.
That money's scarce, you have to fight for your peace.
Exactly. It flips that script completely. Instead of chasing something limited, the self becomes this attractor, a receiving station, constantly drawing it in.
So how does that work psychologically? I mean, just saying it doesn't magically make money appear, right?
Well, no, not directly magic. But think about it this way. The material suggests the main barrier isn't external. It's not the economy, not your boss. It's the internal resistance. The text talks about dissolving all resistance in me to receive more wealth. Often that resistance comes from, deep-seated beliefs, maybe stuff learned in childhood, past failures, or just this quiet, nagging feeling that we're not good enough for significant financial success.
Like an internal thermostat setting.
Precisely. It's like an internal thermostat. If your subconscious is set for, say, $70,000 a year, anything significantly more might trigger behaviors, maybe unconscious ones, to get you back to that familiar level. Self-sabotage, basically. So these affirmations, like, I am worthy of financial freedom and security, they're an attempt to consciously recalibrate that thermostat, to set it higher, permanently. It frames wealth as natural, suggesting resistance is the aberration. And that alignment, theoretically, lets you make daily choices from confidence, not scarcity.
Okay, so that identity piece is step 1, shifting from chaser to attractor. But then what? If you've decided you're worthy, how does the money actually start moving? And this is where it gets really interesting, because the text seems to hold 2 ideas at once. This tension between, like, effortless flow and pretty demanding strategic action.
Yes, that's a critical point. The language around flow is quite ethereal. You see phrases like, wealth and money come to me easily and effortlessly, and I welcome unexpected money and opportunities. It sounds very gentle, almost passive.
Right, like you just sit back and it arrives.
Yeah. But then, almost in the next breath, it demands real competence, real action. It uses very active commercial language. I am a successful and wealthy entrepreneur. Or, I am capable of creating multiple streams of income. And even, I provide valuable services and I'm well compensated for them. That's not passive waiting.
So how do those two fit together? Effortless flow and deliberate creation. Seems like a contradiction.
I think the synthesis is the key. It's not that the flow means no effort. It means action taken without the usual financial stress and anxiety. Think of like a master musician. Their playing looks effortless, right? But it's built on years of practice and deep competence. The flow here is arguably the mental state you achieve when your actions come from a place of confidence and skill, not desperation.
Ah, okay. So if you genuinely believe you're capable, maybe because you've done the identity work and you've actually built the skills, then the doing doesn't feel like a struggle anymore. It feels more like alignment.
Exactly. The competence enables the flow. The text is very clear on meeting continuous self-improvement. It includes things like, I am continuously expanding my financial knowledge and skills, and I am confident in my ability to make wise, profitable financial decisions. This removes the friction, the stress. You can't be anxious about, say, a negotiation if you truly know your value and have the skills. By focusing on being that competent creator, you dissolve the internal tension, allowing flow to manifest as just clear, decisive, effective action.
Okay, that makes sense. So if we accept this identity, this powerful creator who acts with competence and flow, what's the goal? What are they actually building? Because the text doesn't just say have enough money. It paints a very vivid picture, doesn't it? It's quite opulent.
It is. It's surprisingly detailed. It goes way beyond just financial security. The first layer is definitely about luxury and comfort, almost unapologetically so. You find phrases like being worthy of living a life of luxury and comfort or attracting luxurious experiences. Even I am surrounded by beauty, elegance, and luxury at all times.
That visualization aspect seems important, giving the subconscious a clear target.
I think so. It grounds the abstract idea of wealth in tangible sensory detail. But it's not just about fancy things for their own sake. Psychologically, this luxury represents the ultimate removal of limits. That's the core aspiration, financial independence. It says, I am financially free, and I am now free to live my dreams, and I am worthy of living a life of ease without financial stress. So wealth becomes the tool that unlocks freedom, creating a life where money is no longer a limitation. That's the promise.
Freedom from limitation. But does it stop at personal freedom and luxury?
No, and this is crucial, I think, for resolving potential guilt around accumulating wealth. It moves beyond the self. The text brings in the idea of legacy. It states that your choices today are about creating a legacy of wealth and abundance for future generations.
That shifts the motivation quite a bit. It's not just for me now.
Precisely. It turns personal gain into something potentially larger, and it explicitly talks about contribution. Like, the more money I have, the more money I can use to help myself and others, and I share my prosperity with others. So the luxury might be a marker of success, but the deeper purpose presented is this idea of leveraged contribution. It makes the abundance feel more justifiable, perhaps, morally sustainable in the mind.
Right. You're not just rich. You're rich for a purpose beyond your own needs. Okay. So we've got the identity shift, the flow action engine, the specific vision. What's missing? How do you keep it all grounded? You've attracted this flow. You have this vision. You need to manage it, right? Otherwise, it could just disappear again.
Exactly. The text makes a very sharp pivot here, moving from attraction and vision to practical stewardship, financial resilience, wisdom.
This is where the aspirational language meets the reality of a bank account.
Pretty much. It brings in these strong, actionable management principles. Things like, I always make smart financial decisions. And I handle money with care and wisdom. It even gets concrete. I save and invest money wisely. And ensuring the bank account is, quote, growing every day. This part is absolutely critical. Without practical financial literacy, all the money magnet talk is potentially setting someone up for failure.
So attraction without management isn't sustainable.
Not according to this framework. If you attract a windfall but lack the skills or discipline to manage it, that internal thermostat we talked about, it's likely to kick in and bring you back down. The text implies you need both, capable of creating wealth and managing it wisely. That's what makes the flow potentially permanent.
Okay, management is key. And you mentioned one other element earlier, gratitude. Where does that fit in?
Gratitude is woven throughout, but it becomes especially prominent towards the end. And it's positioned not just as a nice feeling, but as a fundamental tool. The text explicitly calls it the gateway to abundance.
Why is it so powerful? Is it just about feeling good about having money?
It seems to function on a deeper psychological level. Gratitude acts like an amplifier, and maybe a reality check in a positive way. When you express gratitude for the abundance you already have, even small wins, opportunities, skills, you're reinforcing that initial identity shift. You're confirming, I am rich, wealthy, and happy. It closes the loop.
So it validates the whole process.
Exactly. Look at phrases like, I honor the energy of money and use it wisely. That shows respect for the resource rather than anxiety about it. And the formula is laid out quite clearly. The more grateful I am, the more abundance flows to me. It's like it keeps that internal thermostat set high by constantly confirming, moment by moment, that abundance isn't just a future goal, it's a present reality, even if it's just beginning to manifest.
So putting it all together, what does this mean for you, listening right now? We've explored this conceptual text, and it really seems less like a collection of nice sayings and more like a comprehensive four-part psychological program. It starts with identity, moves through aligned action, builds a vivid vision of luxury and legacy, and then grounds it all with management and gratitude. It's fundamentally about rewriting your internal financial operating system. It really puts the control back on you, claiming, I'm in control of my financial destiny and choose to create wealth.
Yeah, it's just that becoming a powerful creator of wealth requires this whole sequence. First, you have to believe you're capable and worthy, deeply. Then, align your actions so they feel less like struggle and more like competent flow. You need that clear vision, the luxury, the freedom, the contribution as motivation. And finally, you stabilize the whole system with practical management and perpetual gratitude for what's already flowing. It really is a full psychological overhaul.
Which leads to a really potent question for you to think about. If your current financial situation is, as this text suggests, a direct reflection of your deepest, most consistent internal monologue, if the words you repeat to yourself are literally shaping your bank account, what words would you choose to change, starting today? What identity shifts, what vocabulary adjustments could you make? Something to consider.